This isekai anime is absolutely ridiculous and absurd for reasons you probably wouldn't expect. So, our story starts off with our MC, Tsuyoshi Mukoda, who gets isekai'd as the stories usually go, with actually a few other people with him. And upon being summoned, they are told with his magical item what their abilities are. And his other fellow members who got isekai'd have abilities such as Holy Sword User, Wind Magic, Holy Magic, etc., etc. And his seemingly underwhelming ability is Online Grocery, which, you know what, I don't blame anyone else in that series for being like, what the heck is that? That just sounds stupid. And honestly, it does sound stupid. When I first saw this series, I'm like, what the heck? What even is that? But it is actually quite broken. So upon getting told that it's his only ability, he started contemplating his entire life like, you know what? I don't even think I should be a hero because that's literally my only ability. So he tells the king and queen that he actually wants to withdraw from being a hero and just go live an ordinary life. And upon leaving, he is granted 20 gold, which he says, I don't know if this is actually a lot of money or if this is just hush money. Which, to me, I mean, that doesn't seem like it's a whole lot of money. So one of his first objectives is to get out of the kingdom, and he actually finds a carriage that will lead him into the next town. And upon getting into the next town over, he actually goes to the Adventurer Guild, which usually the MC would want to become an adventurer and would sign up for it, but he actually just wants to be escorted, which he does find his party that will escort him. And honestly, I don't know if those characters that he is partying up with are going to be main characters, or they're just going to be kind of like one-off. They're going to be here for an episode 2, and then we're never going to see them. Which, to me, they look kind of like background characters. The funny thing is, even our MC looks like some background character dude. He has really no defining traits about him. Like, usually, you know, the MC is distinct and, you know, you can kind of tell he's the MC by how he looks. Usually they would have a cool design or something to make them stand out, and this guy just looks as plain and boring as you can get, which honestly, I really love because it's just playing off the whole idea of, like, he's not the hero. He's the MC, but he's not, like, you know, the guy to, you know, save the world, essentially. Well, that's just what I'm getting from the first episode at the very least. Maybe he actually does, but judging from the first episode, it doesn't seem like it's going to be that kind of story. And when he gets into the next town and finds a place to lodge in, he actually does use his ability for the first time. What it actually does is pull up a big screen that floats in the middle of the air and is a store where you can buy groceries. Which, I mean, kind of duh from the name, but it was just absolutely hilarious to see that, where you just like, okay, I can literally just order things on this freaking screen and it actually instantly drops right next to him. And I'm telling you what, even Amazon don't have that kind of fast shipping. So yeah, it was pretty cool and funny to see him just like clicking a button and paying like a little bit of money and it just plops right next to him, which I was actually surprised to see that he has to pay for the items, which I guess, you know, would make sense because it's an online grocery store. But I was thinking he would just be able to get unlimited things by just clicking on it and having free access to it. And not only can he buy food with his ability, he can buy ingredients for food and even things to cook food with, like this stove that he bought in the first episode, which is pretty funny to me how he actually thought of getting a stove, because he went to the store to buy materials and this guy was like trying to sell him the stove and he's like, this is 50 gold coins. He's like, hello, that is ridiculously expensive, no thank you. So he used his ability to actually just go online and buy a cheap one, which is pretty funny, you know, because he's just undermining these stores now from actually having to buy anything from them. And also, I have to bring up that the food looks absolutely ridiculously good. Like, I was getting hungry watching this show. I'm just like, this show has no right to have such good-looking food. Honestly, almost on the level of Food Wars. Even though his ability is a fighting ability, and I'm pretty sure he couldn't really use this in any way to harm his enemies, but I mean, maybe if he cooked something that's really big and thick, he can smack somebody in the head and knock them out. I don't really know. It actually does have some crazy qualities to it, because upon eating, one, people will probably become super addicted because they've never had such good food in their life, and two, it actually gives stat buffs. I mean, not only do people get just good food, it also, like, makes them more powerful for probably a temporary time. It can turn foe into friend, as seen in episode 1. There was a Fenrir, I probably butchered that, I don't really know how to pronounce that, sorry, that was actually following him and his party for a while. When he finally decided to show himself, he demanded some food, which, well, I mean, like, if a giant freaking wolf thing is demanding food and you don't want to be eaten, you probably should listen to it. And so he just cooked the Fenrir like a crap ton of food, and he absolutely loved it. And loved it so much that he demanded our MC to actually make a pact with him. And it was kind of funny because usually it's the other way around, where the MC chooses an animal to actually make a pact with. But in this case, the crazy, scary Fenrir was like, nah, bro, I really liked your food, and if you don't want to be eaten alive, I demand you to make a pact with me and feed me on a daily basis. He wanted to be fed 3 times a day, which, I mean, like, judging from that food, that looked delicious. I wouldn't mind getting fed 3 times a day with that food, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm assuming that will probably be shown in future episodes, where he might have, for whatever reason, somebody is trying to, like, RIP the man, and he's just like, wait a minute, let me cook you some food. And they're like, oh my god, the heavens have blessed my tongue. So even though his powers don't seem to be useful for being on the offensive and attacking people, they definitely seem to be overpowered in their own right. Like I just said, being able to buff his other party members so they can fight for him, or turning foe to friend, and even probably make some freaking bank. I'm sure if he opened up his own shop and people start trying it, oh my god, he's gonna be richer than the freaking king himself. Definitely ways I can see himself utilizing his ability to the max. Arguably my favorite comedy of the season. I would recommend it, even if you're not really into, like, Isekai or even comedy. I think you should give this a shot anyway. I mean, who doesn't really like a good laugh and, just being entertained? So I genuinely enjoyed this one and can definitely see myself keeping up with it every single week. And, well, I hope you guys all enjoy this one too. See you guys later.